everybody? Welcome to another episode of Super Gamer Boys. I'm your host, Colonel and Dad Garrett Morlang, and here in the virtual studio with me is the king of video games and pocket poppy, Adrian Homeboy Holmes. What is up?
What is good, my guy? Here we are once again, getting ready to put in that good work. And by work, I mean sit around and talk about the video games.
Hey, this is hard work.
It is. I don't talk a whole lot. I don't talk a whole lot about anything except video games. So here we go. Get ready, because this is all the yap energy that I got coming at you.
It's not easy being ridiculed on the internet over just seemingly just simple, we're not saying anything controversial here, right? Like nothing we say is for the most part controversial. It's pretty much like we're pretty even keel, pretty even keel, pretty tame, pretty positive on things, right? Yeah, man,
I would say so.
This last week, our one of our clips got like out of nowhere like 1,700 views, which is a blessing and a curse, because it's like, yay, we're getting found. We got a ton of new subs. Like, hey, an update. We're up to 412 subs on YouTube. Awesome.
Let's go.
We were at like 408 last week. So it's like, all right, cool. This is what video got us, like 4 more people. But with that came the slew of just like hate. All we talked about was like, it'd be really cool if Xbox made a handheld, right? And
yeah.
Wow.
I need a couple examples.
There's nothing controversial we said
at all.
It's very, very much just like, wouldn't this be cool? Huh, this is neat. Man, people just went off, and it is wild. Let me tell you.
What were they saying? Like, what kind of stuff?
So this one dude got ticked off because there's no official information out, and he thinks that
that's why it's being reported as a rumor.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. He's like,
what?
I think everyone, and this isn't me editing it. This is how he wrote it, or they wrote it, whoever wrote it.
Okay. All right.
I think everyone needs to fark off until official information comes out from Microsoft, Xbox. Everyone expects brand new news from Xbox every day, every week, every month, like all their plans going ahead. Why doesn't nobody question PlayStation, Amazon, FB, Nintendo, and other platforms about their future plans going forward? Oh, that's right. Xbox has destroyed every platform so far. Sales mean nothing,
Sir.
Pony. That's already proven by your own overlords.
Sir.
And so the haters are trying to get Xbox to tell us exactly what's happening in Xbox. Funny thing, there's no punctuation. This is all one long
it's all one
sentence,
go.
by the way.
Somebody took a big breath.
What's happening in Xbox? Funny thing about that is ponies hate when Xbox has an answer to all their garbage shirt questions instead of shirt questions. So dumb. That at first were meant to shame Xbox. When Xbox flips it over and destroys it with an answer that leaves them shut-mouthed afterwards. And this is why all of you should STFU until official news is dropped and stop trying to push your narrative, because you won't get an answer until it's made. Uncle Phil ain't dumb, and neither is Xbox. So stop trying to make up news unless it's officially stated by Xbox or any of their reps.
Nobody said they were. This was all off of you're lying. This is all off of a video where we said, hey, it'd be pretty cool if Xbox was making a handheld.
This is a video where we're just like, we love Xbox and we love a handheld. This guy's like, shut up. You know nothing about Xbox. It's like, are you kidding? His profile picture is the Windows window, like Microsoft Windows, with like the Xbox X overlaid like transparent on top of it. So he's definitely a Microsoft fan.
You're definitely coming from a neutral standpoint here. I'm glad to, you're able to give us level-headed takes. Oh,
I just love that. Like I don't think we were negative on Xbox at all. We talk very much how we're like, a handheld would be sick.
A handheld would be sick. And then we just got off talking about how the showcase was actually awesome.
Yeah. I don't know what this dude's issue is.
I think,
but it made me just chuckle so hard. I'm like, did he not listen or watch the video at all?
I don't think so. I think he just wanted to talk. I think honestly,
he probably just saw that down there in the corner. My PlayStation, my sacred symbols. Oh, yeah. And just assumed I was going to talk trash about Xbox. Meanwhile, like, we just sang its praises all the whole time. Sock7 in the plays in the chat says Phil's nephew told you.
Phil's nephew? I think we just have to do what we just did and just laugh at stuff like this. Like it's so, I don't know, man, so out of there. So like, I really think somebody crafted this comment and they mean it as a bit, because nobody can actually talk like it's a character they're playing. You know what I mean? You can't actually feel like this.
Nobody cares that much.
You're
right.
Reading, your listening and reading comprehension can't be that bad that when you hear somebody say, hey, Xbox is kind of doing some cool stuff right now, you fly into a blind rage about that,
yeah,
the company.
It reads like a South Park, like,
yeah, almost.
Like it seems completely made up. Like there's no way this is legit. Like there's no way this is real. Oh man, I don't know. Yeah, and it's real. It's very real. It's there on the video if you want to go comment on it or give it a like. I don't know. Maybe it'd be fun. Let's as everyone just like bomb this comment. Just give it all the thumbs up and likes and comments. It's like, good job, buddy. Good on ya. Like don't agree with them. Just say like, good job. You did it.
You posted, man. Good job out there. Have a blast. We should every time we get
a Kool-Aid jammer, dude. Just chill.
Every time we get a comment like this, we should like take a few minutes and just read it on here and just, I don't know, talk about it, laugh about it. I think that'd be a good little segment.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't have to happen all the time, but when we get a really good one like that, I think that's worthy of like, hey, this is the comment of the week, you know?
Yeah, it doesn't happen often, but boy, when it does, it's good. It's good.
But yeah, man, look at that. We're already over 10% on the way there.
It's great. It's great. We're on our way to 500. 500 by 2025. Let's get there. And real quick, there's also another question that says, y'all trash.
Thanks.
Okay.
You still watch.
Thanks, dude. You still got the view. Thanks, dude. Appreciate it. YouTube. This is this beautiful, beautiful ecosystem we live in here on the internet. So yeah, that's what
that was a good opener.
Last
that
week.
Was a good.
I think that was pretty good one. Pretty good one. Real good self-esteem booster, you know.
Yes. Yeah. That was awesome.
in a weird way. All right. Well, today we're going to be talking about last week's incredible Nintendo Direct, if Sony's given up on PSVR 2, and Bethesda's plan for Fallout 5. But first, let's give a quick shout out to our Patreon producers, Bumble Smash and Kajoma01, and our Super Gamer sponsors, Julie Bates, Mama Mare, and Carrie. If you want to be awesome just like those folks, head over to patreon.com/supergamerboys, where you can support us starting at just $1 a month. That's right, $1 a month. You get episodes early and ad-free, such as this show, Patreon exclusive shows such as early seasons of Super Gamer Book Club and Super Later Boys, which, by the way, maybe one day we can record another one of those episodes. It's been a minute.
Been a quite a few ticks. You know,
it's
on the old
tricky
clock.
When, especially now that I'm unemployed, like not as much is happening in my life. So it's like, what do I talk about on the show? But it's been a minute now. It's like, okay, we have things we could probably talk about. So yeah, we should figure that out. But we'll talk more about our Patreon later on in the show. Right now, I do want to give a huge shout out to Jack, Sriracha, Yate, and DJ Trooz for allowing us to use their music on the show. In fact, today we're listening to my DJ Trooz playlist. This is from the album Trooz and Chill currently, but I think it's cycling through there. So if you're loving what you're hearing throughout the show, be sure to go show them some love and support on Apple Music and Spotify. Links will be in the show description on YouTube and podcast apps. Otherwise, just go to search for DJ Trooz, Trooz. And who knows, maybe we'll see him later on the show. Half the time there's quite a few.
Just might show up. Just might pop out.
Yeah, they rate us or pop in. So it's always a good time. All right. And with that, I think it is time to check the mail.
Fire it up.
If I can find the on button.
Today, Junior.
I'm sorry. We didn't have questions last week, right? So now I'm struggling to. All right, here we go.
Oh.
What up, boys? Some Nintendo Direct that was, huh? No cheapy robo,
right?
But Metroid Prime 4 is looking sweet. We'll talk more about it later. Ready for some questions?
Oh, I'm ready for questions, but boy, am I ready to talk about that Nintendo Direct. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. All right. Yeah, go ahead and throw that first question at us, please.
Terry asks, if you could convince any major game console company, Sony, Xbox, Nintendo, Playdate, to do one thing, what would it be? Doesn't have to make sense financially.
Okay. All right. So you have any major game console company at your fingertips, at your beck and call. Whatever you say, they'll do. You say jump, they say, how high, Adrian? What is it you would have them do for you?
I mean, I could be boring and say the thing that I always say. I'm not gonna do that because I feel like you're gonna beat a dead horse, right? And it's always Sony
wait. Is that okay? I was just gonna say, is it Sony make a new handheld?
Yes, absolutely. That's what I would. That's my go-to, right? But
yeah.
I would make Microsoft full steam ahead continue their backward, like revive and continue their backward compatibility program until they reach 100% backward compatibility with Xbox, with 360, all the way up. So if I buy a Series X, any game I put in there is going to be able to be played. No problem.
I like that. Yeah. I mean, are they even still working on that, or is it kind of on pause?
Sarah came out and said, Sarah came out and said that they were like working on it in a cursory way. Like they're doing some kind of thing with their archival and preservation stuff like that. But that doesn't necessarily translate to, we're bringing the backwards compatibility program back. She didn't really say that verbatim. I feel like she gave herself some wiggle room just in case so they can maneuver to do that if they ever needed to. But there was nothing concrete about it. But my directive would be to, we're bringing that specific program back and we're going full steam ahead until we get 100%. So
yeah, heck yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I had two things here. One was PlayStation handheld. One was just make games. But the more I thought about it, it's a good one, right?
True.
Just make games.
Fair.
No, I would love for PlayStation to get weird again and like get back into like their indie initiative that they had before. Especially now that I'm like way more turned on to indie games. Since you've been introducing them to me, it's like, oh man, I missed the boat on that. Because during that time when they were doing that, we
were eating so good.
Yeah, I wasn't on that train though. Like that wasn't my thing at all. Like I was like not an indie game person. I was in the big AAA space. So it was very much like I didn't care about it. And I know I could go back and play some of those games, but I don't know. It's just like, it's not the same. I would just love for them to like, all right, Sony Publishing, start like an indie wing and start helping publish smaller games, or like doing an indie showcase. Like, why aren't they doing indie showcases anymore? Xbox is doing like their
Xbox has ID. Nintendo has their indie world.
Yep.
But Sony went completely the other way, and they were the first ones to do it, I believe. Then ID at Xbox was either around the same time or shortly after. I could have the two reversed, but I say that to say that they were one of the first ones out the gate having that PlayStation Loves Indies program, and then that all went up in smoke. So
yeah, so I would just love to see like the indie initiative come back. And this is going to sound funny because the question is literally doesn't have to make sense financially. And I think Carrie meant that to be like, if it's going to cost $1 billion, who cares? I'm going to take it the other way. I want Sony to put like caps and limits on these AAA games.
Yes, dude.
Be like, hey, you know what?
You're spitting. No,
we're going to top you out at. I'm not going to throw a number out there because I don't keep up with all the budgets, so I don't know what's even reasonable for like, all right, a game.
I can wait. You want me to help you frame it? You ready?
Okay, yeah.
Some of these games are reaching like $250 to $300 million. I think Spider-Man was in that bracket.
Yeah.
$250 to $300 million to make these games. You know what my budget is? 1.
Yeah. Yeah. Cap it and just, I don't know, like you don't have to do everything in one game, right? Like having once in a great,
actually 75. If you can't make a good game with 75 mil, we got a problem.
Yeah. Maybe have like a lottery system where all the studios can put their name in the hat, and like every once in a while, the big, whoever that one studio is, they win the lottery, they get to make the big game, the one that's like whatever, hundreds of millions of dollars. But everyone else is like, all right, no, you're stuck to like 50 mil or something like that.
That's actually genius.
Make something reasonable. And that just forces people to like really hone in what they're trying to do and rein it in. Like, okay, we're going to have a killer art style. We're going to have a killer story. It's going to be tight. It's going to be like whatever. And then obviously like the one that won the lottery that year or whatever can be like,
that's
right,
the big blockbuster. You can market, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. I don't know. I know like there's definitely a bad side to that where like, well, no, you could be possibly stifling creativity. You're not allowing them to do what they want.
No way, dude.
But it's like, I don't know. Some of these indie games are literally made in people's garages off of like pennies, and they're like some of the top
life changers.
Life-changing stories, game of the year contenders. So it's like, I think PlayStation with their teams could pretty easily make a decent game with a much tighter budget, and maybe, who knows, maybe it'd help them just like, again, like really focus in on what they want to do. I don't know. It's a wild idea, but
yeah. I would argue that indie games themselves kind of spit in the face of that idea of some studio, or the idea that you're stifling their creativity, just like you were saying.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah, because it's
like even all the way down to the Playdate, right? That's a 1-bit system. But some of the uses that people have had, and the way that they've been able to use whatever hardware that they can, get the most juice out of, has come up with some of the most creative games I've seen in a long time. So constraints, they do make you think in a way that you would never have thought before. And I would love to see, you tell Insomniac, hey, you're not making a big sprawling third-person adventure game anymore. What are you gonna make? What are you gonna do?
Yeah. 100%. 100%. That's, I think, the direction I would go. Don't blow all the money. Save the money. Keep the money. And then when you have like those, then you have it for a rainy day fund when there is like, instead of having massive layoffs, it's like, no, PlayStation is still hiring because we had a little nest egg or whatever. Don't pay the CEOs more. Don't pay the, all the higher up people.
Just put it away.
Just keep it and invest it in other ways,
Matter of fact, take 5 of it. Take 5 of it every year, and then just do another PSX. Why did we stop doing PSX?
Dude, I'm so mad I missed out on that. By the time I was like, it was even a possibility. Like we moved to California and all that, and then it's like, oh, we're done. I'm like, no, why?
They were so awesome, dude. No. They were so awesome. I miss them so much. I tried PSVR for the first time, and that was my first like real experience with modern VR. I'll never forget it. Cool. It was the Eve Valkyrie, the Eve Online Starship game. I don't know if you've heard of that one. It was breathtaking. It was so cool. That was one thing that I always remember from going to a PSX. That and seeing Last of Us 2 world premiere at that PSX, and Neil was there and everybody was there. That was so cool. The place was electric. It went nuts.
That's sick. That's sick, man. So cool. Carrie also had one other question that was kind of attached onto this, was how do you feel about D&D or other TTRPGs? Do y'all play? I wanted to highlight this because I will answer that question, at least for me. Yes, I do play D&D. I love D&D. I don't really play
yes, we do play D&D. We have documented history of us playing D&D.
Yeah, so I've been playing D&D not super long, but for a few years. And Adrian, I got Adrian and former co-host JJ, rest in peace. I gotta throw that in there every time a host is gone. Sad. That buffet.
That's okay. We got to keep
too tempting. We
got to keep marching on.
But we did a show called Super Dungeon Boys. So if you don't know, we have a YouTube channel and it's on podcast services. Go to a podcast app, go to our YouTube, search for Super Dungeon Boys, and we've done a D&D podcast. It's pretty okay, if I may say so myself.
A full campaign.
For JJ and Adrian's first time playing, and it was my buddy Derek DMing. I think it might have been like his first or second. Like he was a pretty newish DM. I was like, whoa, this came together really cool. And I did all the soundtrack and sound effects and stuff. So it's like, it's not just listening to us talk for, an hour. It's like, oh, there's full sound music and sound effects that I mixed in.
Thrills,
so if
chills,
you're looking for
spells,
like a real play D&D show, we have one season now. Go check it out. So it's fun. I don't know if Carrie threw that question in there just to kind of like set us up so we could like spike that ad in, or she really didn't know. But now either way, Carrie knows now and everyone knows. So go check out Super Dungeon Boys on podcast apps and on YouTube.
That was a good time.
That was a good time. Hopefully one day we can do it again. We'll see.
Just not at 3 a.m., please.
Not at 3 a.m. Yeah, the recordings were rough because it was designed to come out for Spooky Gamer Boys like all October long. If you're new here, October long, we usually do a bunch of live streams playing horror games. We do put out extra videos, content, stuff like that. Like a couple years ago, we did like horror shorts and all sorts of fun stuff all over on our YouTube. And we wanted to do this D&D campaign that was like one shot. That was like spooky, scary, whatever. And the recording just kept getting delayed. And it was like, 2 weeks? It was like a September, like halfway through September. Finally, we're like, all right, we got 2 weekends in a row where we're free. So like 2 Saturdays in a row. We started at like 6 or 7 o'clock at night and went to like, it was like 2 or 3 our time. And my buddy Derek is East Coast. So it was like 6 in the morning for him. Absolutely insane. The recording.
JJ is all the way asleep, eyes both closed. I'm fading, coming in and out. Wait, I'm like subconsciously just listening for either mine or my character's turn, just so that I know to spring back awake in time. It was rough, dude.
Yeah, which even with that, I'm surprised how awesome it is. Like listening back to it, it's like, wow, I came out really good for being like half asleep at that. Not me. I don't know. I'm a night owl. I was all about it. But like, yeah, you and the JJ were like
not me
working hard, and so you guys were like, we're done. But good times. Go check out Super Dungeon Boys for sure. All right, we got one more question here from Hophead Ed. Let's hear that one.
Shoot.
Hophead Ed asks, what is your favorite video game theory, and do you believe it? I like the Majora's Mask ones about it all being in Link's head, or that it's an allegorical story.
This is a good one. I feel like I've never played Majora's Mask. I think I've talked about that before. I didn't grow up with an N64. I had Majora's Mask on GameCube because I got like that special pack with the GameCube that came with like Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, like all those games. Did you ever have that?
Did you keep it? Because you know how expensive that is now? Oh boy.
Nope. I've told you, I'm sad about all the things I got rid of. I don't have any of my stuff. But it was one of those things where like I played through Ocarina of Time because my uncle had a strategy guide, an original N64 strategy guide for Ocarina of Time. Obviously, it's the same game on a GameCube as it wasn't any different other than the controls. Obviously, didn't make sense sometimes. But so I played through that. But then, Majora's Mask, I was like, I don't understand what's happening. I just put it down, never touched it again. So reading this series, interesting. Now I kind of want to play this, and I've heard from a lot of people, Majora's Mask, like. I've heard some people say they like it a little more than Ocarina of Time. Like,
I've heard that too, and I can't fight you on that. They're both incredible games.
Because Ocarina of Time is pretty amazing. So now I'm like, man, do I need to go play Majora's Mask now? Like, this sounds crazy. It's all in Link's head. I've also heard the theory that he's dead or something like that. It's almost like an afterlife thing. I've heard all sorts of weird theories about this game. Either way, every time I hear a theory about Majora's Mask, it's like, I need to play this dang game. It sounds wild. But do you have any video game theories that you've ever heard? Or
I do.
Just that you had or made up as a kid, or like kind of your own headcanon that that you believe?
This one's going to take a little research on the listener/viewers part. So if you ever look at and I'm talking about Star Fox. If you ever look at the Star Fox crew, the first one and 64, that's the only time you've ever see full body models. If you ever look at their legs, you'll notice that all 4 of them from the calf down, they're all metal. Like they're metal boots, it looks like, right? That's what it seems like.
Yeah.
I heard a theory that all 4 of them have had their legs amputated and replaced with those feet / boots / prosthetics to help them handle the G-forces in the R-wings better when they're piloting, because their nervous system doesn't have to do as much work to pump all that blood, because a good quarter of their body is gone. So yeah,
what the heck?
Yeah, that's hardcore. Wild. Imagine if that's real. It kind of tracks though, right? Because all 4 of them have it. If you go back and look at their feet, they all have it, and they're all metal.
That's wild. That's a wild theory.
That's
and
awesome.
I kind of like it.
I love
so
it.
Epic. Yeah, it's so intense.
Like you want to commit to this life of being a pilot? This is what you want to do. Are you sure about that? This is the one way to test it.
It's like, that's like kind of like with the Armored Core lore, where I think of like Warhammer 40K. There's like this unit called Terminators, and basically the Terminators are people who are in combat, have maybe like on the brink of dead, like their arm, all their limbs are chopped off, maybe they're just like a torso barely holding on to life, and they literally stick their torso in this box and hook them up to a life support, and now they're a Terminator. And it's like, it kind of sounds like,
so it's Darth Vader,
but just like, yeah, basically. But like, imagine like the Terminator is like a tank. It's called a Terminator. It doesn't look like a Terminator. It's like a giant like bipedal like tank that has like, rail gun on one side and a buzzsaw on the other arm. It's like crazy stuff, flamethrowers. But yeah, that's a wild theory, and I'm all for it, especially like Nintendo. That's so like,
right. I mean, they would never say anything like that. So it's definitely like on the theory side. But man, how cool. I would absolutely try to figure out a way to write that. Like if I ever got a chance to write a Star Fox game, 100%. I would somehow mention that was part of the training that they had to go through, or the commitment to being an R-wing pilot.
Heck yeah.
And that's why nobody else flies R-wings, is because they are that dangerous to fly. That's how much of a commitment you have to do to fly them. Yeah. That would rule.
That'd be wild. I have a couple, because one is kind of smaller, and I heard it around the time I played Twin Snakes, which was just a couple years ago, because I played it for our buddies over at Super NPC Radio, did a games club season. They went through all the Metal Gear games and even all the side games, and I got asked to play Twin Snakes and Portable Ops. Twin Snakes came out on GameCube. It's a remake of Metal Gear Solid 1, but just wild, different in the most wild ways.
No, remember we have a good encapsulation for this.
Yeah,
remember, don't you?
Yeah, it was yours. You can go ahead and say it.
Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes is like your little brother telling you how Metal Gear Solid 1 happened, like what happened in Metal Gear Solid 1.
Yeah, 100%. And that, what I loved is like you said that, and then it was like a few days after we did that episode, I found this theory, and I was like, this totally matches up with what you're saying, basically. So the theory is that Twin Snakes is Otacon's recollection of the events. The GameCube remake is how Otacon remembers Metal Gear Solid 1, because like, just like how highly he thinks of Snake, and just like over exaggerates and dramatizes. Like he's a very dramatic person anyways, in a lot of ways. Like, yeah, he's smart and analytical, but he's very like, very quickly, just like everything goes to like 11 real fast with him. So I was like, that's
I don't hate that.
Yeah,
I don't hate that.
Like the idea of him, like Snake telling him later, like they're sitting on a plane heading to a mission somewhere, and he's like, yeah, like fought a hind D on the top of that building. And like Otacon's like imagining in his head. Cause like in Twin Snakes, there's the moment where he's fighting Liquid up on the top of the building and freaking jumps off, backflips off of a rocket, you know, and like into it, like pass out of the explosion, just stupid stuff like that. It wasn't in the original game. And
right.
I'm like 100%. I could just see Otacon be like, oh my gosh, Snake. Like,
this must have been
this is crazy. Like you fought a hind D and won. Like, oh, I love that idea. That it's just like him hyping Snake up the whole time.
That makes so much sense. You know what? I'm rolling with it now.
Yeah.
If you think about it in that light, Twin Snakes is an awesome game.
Right? It's an epic game. I love it.
Right.
Oh, man. And the other one was one that I remember as a kid I remember kids talk on the playground about this and thinking like, I don't know if that checks out or whatever. But obviously as kids, like we didn't have all of our facts. We're all dumb. We're all just, it's one of those things. You don't trust each other either. It's like, you're making that up. That's lies. But I was like, you know what? I decided to look more into it when Eddie asked this question. I was like, all right, I'm gonna look into this and see if there's any more like meat on this bone, you know, or if this was just totally like a stupid playground rumor thing. And so I did find some information. I'm like, shoot, okay, so maybe this was legit. So Pokemon Red and Blue, during the rival battle on board the SS Anne, Gary uses Eradicate as part of his team. This makes sense, as he's shown to have caught a Rattata during the early stages of the game. When the players next encounter Gary, however, the Eradicate is nowhere to be seen, leading many to question whether it died as a result of the injuries it sustained during the previous battle. The theory is that you, the player, murdered Gary's Eradicate.
And not that he just didn't switch it out and put it in a box somewhere. But here's
the thing though. When you encounter him later, he only has 5 Pokemon it mentions here. Some have suggested that Gary simply swapped it out for a stronger Pokemon, but this seems unlikely given that he only has a team of 5 instead of 6. That the battle also takes place in Lavender Town, in the Lavender Town's Pokemon Tower. So you come across him in the Lavender Town Tower, which is where we kind of learn Pokemon do die.
He does come down like he's leaving. But wouldn't he have mentioned that? Right? Wouldn't he have mentioned like, hey, you killed my Eradicate, dude?
I don't know. I guess. I don't know. I have no idea. A Pokemon Tower, a place where the souls of departed Pokemon are laid to rest, further strengthens the idea that Gary was unable to get poor Eradicate to a Pokemon Center in time following the battle on the SS Anne. What a sad,
rest in peace, Eradicate.
But yeah, the idea that you just
beat it to death.
Beat this Eradicate to a bloody pulp.
Hey, that thing hyperfanged me, okay? It didn't just bite me, it hyperfanged me. All right? I'm sorry. Whatever happens to you, happens to you.
It deserved it. Oh, man. I love that. And I stick to it. I'll destroy that Eradicate any day. Take that, Gary. Oh, man. Yeah. Love it. Oh, man. Wow. Well, that is it for our questions this week. Remember, if you have some good questions for us, write them in. The best place to get it to us is over on our Discord, supergamerboys.com/Discord. You can join over there for free. You don't have to be a Patreon member or anything to get into our Patreon or our Discord. I'm sorry. Anyone can join and talk about what you've been playing, what movies you've been watching, what TV shows, and as I said, drop your show questions right there. We'll make sure to get them here on the show. All right, Adrian, I think it's time for the nerdy nudes.
It's now time for the nerdy nudes.
Perfection. All right. This first news story comes to us from Adam Bankhurst over at IGN, friend of the show. Nintendo Direct, June 2024. Everything announced. So this is going to be our typical kind of showcase rundown. We might mention everything, but the main thing let's just mention. We're going to mention some big hitters, which there were quite a few of in this Direct, right? Like this is a pretty good Direct, in my opinion.
Man,
Adrian. Would you like to go first with
would I? Do you know what?
What
they started it off with a megaton. Are you kidding? Mario and Luigi is freaking back. Let's go. They brought out a brand new 3D Mario and Luigi title, Mario and Luigi Brothership, and it looks amazing. The animation in there is top notch from what we saw. It looks fantastic. It kept it translated the Mario and Luigi art style fantastically to 3D. It looks so good. Oh, the brothers mechanics are still there. The battles look more involved than ever. And I heard that some of the original Alpha Dream staff were involved with this game. So that makes me feel so much better about this game, knowing that the original team, in some way, some members were involved with this, and that, you know, they have their DNA in this. So, oh man, when I tell you I stood up straight as soon as I saw Luigi pop out of there and realized it was Mario and Luigi art style Luigi. Oh, I knew we were in for a good direct, brother. Oh man,
so good. Yeah, and Mario and Luigi Brothership is jumping to Nintendo Switch this November.
Yes,
which is awesome. Mario and Luigi Brothership is jumping to Nintendo Switch on November 7th, 2024, with a very unique and colorful art style. The new adventure will send our favorite brothers on an island-hopping adventure on the part ship, part island called Ship-Shape Island. As Mario and Luigi journey across Concordia, they will visit rainforests, cities, and more alongside running into Peach, Bowser, and other Mushroom Kingdom favorites. Yeah, man. I've never played a Mario and Luigi game.
You have a 3DS right there.
I know I have a 3DS. Now I'm like, I need to play these games because just seeing this, I'm excited about this one, but I'm also like, man, at my fingertips, I could be playing it right now if I want.
You got a crisp 4 of them you can run through right now.
Heck yeah. Yeah, this game looks great. I'm so stoked for this. And I'm not even like a huge fan of the series. Like I just revealed I've never played these, but I'm like, this game looks sick. Like,
yeah, they're so good. Even the ones that people don't like that much, I like a lot.
I think it's the art style too. Like, it's a really like, it's just like we talked about earlier in the with my idea for PlayStation, for Sony. It's like, I love how Nintendo, like, I don't know what the budget is. Maybe they put a big budget into this, but I love how they're still not afraid to just like, hey, we're not going for the hyper realistic graphics. We're just making this cool, like almost like cell shaded esque. You know, it's almost like borderline, like Borderlands kind of style. But just
I can see that.
But just like brightly colored, like, is this nicer colors instead of like the muted and whatnot. I love it. It's good. It's cool. That's a good first hit. Good first hit.
That's a day one buy. No questions asked.
They announced Dragon Quest III HD 2D remake, which
also a day one buy. Also looks phenomenal. Can't wait for it.
Yeah, I initially was like, why would they start with 3? And because I've
you
always
don't know.
asked you, I've asked you a ton of times, should I start playing Dragon Quest? And you've been like, yeah. And I always ask which one, and you've told me one, but I never write it down, so I don't remember. But when they announced this, I'm like, 3? That seems weird. But then I read why.
Okay.
Apparently, Dragon Quest 3 is actually the chronological beginning, and it says here, of the Erdrick trilogy storyline. Let players embark on a quest to save the world from the dark forces of the evil archfiend Baramos. So I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Now I'm all in. Like, when this comes out, this might be a day one buy for me.
It's Dragon Quest Delta.
It's like, okay, it's got a sick art style, and it's the beginning of the story. Like, they're starting at the beginning. I can get into it. I'm not like starting halfway through with something. I am so very excited about this. And the fact that 1 and 2 are coming next year.
Yes,
so there's basically,
dude.
Within like a year and a half, you're getting boom, boom, boom. Like you're getting the whole storyline essentially with this incredible art style. So yeah. I'm
in the building
about that. Oh, look at that. If you are watching live,
you called it.
DJ Trooz is in the house. We have to be in the show. We're like, he might rate us. He might.
What's up, good people?
Hello, everyone. Hello. Thank you for the raid. Thanks for stopping in. We're listening to your music right now. That's right. You should all go listen to DJ Trooz. He makes some good stuff. Boy. Oh, he just got done with Elden Ring DLC. That's something.
Oh, you finished it. Oh, okay. Now, tell the truth, Trouser. Is everybody who's saying it's too hard, are they just crying? Like, do they really not play Souls games for real? I just want to know.
I know everyone's talking about how hard this new DLC is, and I'm like, man, I had a hard enough time with the base game. I'm never gonna be able to play through this DLC on it. Oh man. Adrian, what are your thoughts on Super Mario Party Jamboree?
Mixed. I'm glad we're getting more Mario Party content, but I really feel like that this should have been a Mario Party Superstars update that got turned into this game.
Yes.
And I think it's because Super Mario Party sold so well that they went back to the Super Mario Party name.
But then why wouldn't it be DLC for Super Mario? Why make a third game? I don't understand. Instead of just adding DLC, like Superstars could have been like just a huge update for Super Mario Party.
No, they're different games at their core. I feel like Super Mario Party plays different than Mario Party Superstars. Mario Party Superstars plays more like classic Mario Party, and Super Mario Party is like the evolution of that formula. For me, to me, as a Mario Party, what's the word? Archaeologist I've studied this. I was there when it was written.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I just feel like it could have still been like a mode or something, like classic mode, and it just does like, oh, Superstars mode or whatever, and it's like classic original Mario Party. Real quick, Trooz in the chat does say it's hard, but there's way to get around the difficulty if you explore. I'm thoroughly enjoying myself. People get too slap happy with bombing Steam reviews with Helldivers. Now people seem to think it's the best way to be angry about a game. That's how it feels to me, at least. Okay.
So basically, if you play the game the way you've been playing the game, whereas if you explore and get XP, then it gets easier. Yes,
that makes sense. That
common sense. Common sense that most people don't have and don't want to have. Got it.
Yeah. My biggest gripe with the Super Mario Party thing was just like, why a third game? Like, I got to keep track of so many games if I want to play Mario Party with people. But at the same time, these games look really fun. They look really sick. I like some of the modes in here.
I do. I don't know if I'm going to get it though, just because I like Superstars so much more than Super Mario Party, and I feel like this is just going to be more Super Mario Party than Superstars. So I think I'm good where I'm at.
I thought it said it's including maps though from Mario Party 1 and 2.
It is, but it might have the rules that they had for Super Mario Party, which are a good bit different than Superstars. Okay. So
they're keeping the maps, but playing more like
I'm also old, so you have to take that into account as well. That I like the Mario Party of old and the way that it plays and how it's a lot more cutthroat. So
that checks out.
Yep,
That's fine. That's fine. I mean, I'm happy.
I'm happy we're getting more Mario Party content at all. So
that's
don't get me wrong. Just not Mario Party content for me.
Right. That's awesome. Adrian, is there anything else you want to talk about here?
Oh, the rest of the Ace Attorney games are coming over. So we're going to have every single Ace Attorney game on one console.
Oh, yeah. It was the Japanese only ones, right? They were originally just in Japan.
Well, it was the Japanese only ones. And then there are a couple. There was a Miles Edgeworth game that hadn't come over or that hasn't been brought to modern consoles. So now we finally have the entire Ace Attorney series in one place. It's the first time that's ever happened. So that's a big deal.
It makes me so happy. I need to finish the collection because I have it on Switch. I bought the first HD collection. I was like, man, I need to start getting through those. I need to get through all the whole series because when we played that one, I played that first one on my 3DS because it was before the Switch pack was out. And then I'm like, all right, here we go. Such good games. Man, I didn't realize how much was announced at this Direct. I was like scrolling to find this announcement so I can show it on the stream here for the YouTube video. And it's like, I just scrolled through so much. There's a lot they announced at this Direct, which is awesome.
Are you ready for my? Oh no, you want to go?
Oh, I was just gonna say that I just want Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. I'm excited about that. I've never played that because it was always on 3DS, which granted I have a 3DS now, but I'm like, all right, it's coming to Switch. Apparently like just 3 days. So that's awesome. I felt like there was something else. Oh, Disney Illusion Island. Was that a new game or just DLC?
I think it's DLC.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I know that was a game that you had talked about being interested in before, but I wasn't sure if if you knew more about that. So very cool.
Quick shout out to that one indie game that they showed, the Memories in Orbit. That looked pretty sick. It was like a side scroller, kind of a beat 'em up, kind of a exploration game. Looked really good. It was a gorgeous art style. So definitely looking forward to checking that one out. And then we need to talk about the second megaton bomb.
Turok coming to the Nintendo Switch.
Yes, of course. I've been waiting for Turok to come since 2017. I'm so glad they finally did it.
I love Turok so much. It's
Do you really?
I never played it a ton on N64 because I didn't have one. I played a little bit. I had a friend who had an N64 and he had Turok, so I'd play it once in a while. But my whole I fell down on Turok was when I got my 360 and they did the remaster, remake or whatever.
Oh yeah, the new one.
Loved it so much. I was like, this game is the best game ever. It's so good. So yeah, this is like, I didn't play a ton of like the N64 version, but just seeing it again just brought back memories of playing with my buddy who had the N64 and the 360. I'm like, oh yeah, I totally forgot about that game. I thought it was cool. But yeah, like Zelda, Link to the Past 4 and 4 Swords coming.
Yes, I heard Metroid you guys played around to that.
We were going to. We were trying to get set up, but we couldn't find enough people. So
let me know.
It was going to be, Eddie hit me up, and then he's trying to, hook up with a couple more people, but it's hard to.
It is a literal life bucket list game for me to play that game with 3 other people.
Really? Okay.
Yes. Because I always wanted to do it when Game Boy Advance was a thing, and then I never had enough people around and never had enough because you always needed 2 link cables to do 4 people. So yes, before I kick off of here, I want to play through 4 Swords. So whenever you guys, I will make time. I don't care what's going on.
Let's do it.
The second of 4,
your real megaton.
My second of the 4 megaton bombs that we got in this direct. The mighty, glorious return of Marvel vs. Capcom. It's finally back. We got a Marvel vs. Capcom, not just 2. We got a fighting collection. That's all the games that have Marvel and X-Men and Capcom characters all in one collection. Do you understand the I don't know if you do. Marvel vs. Capcom is just a gigantic series as far as fighting games are concerned. I don't know, were you there when we did the top 10 games all time? I think you were, right? When we did it with NPC Radio? Yeah, that was on my list of one of my top 10 games of all time. So to finally get this game back, because it went away because Marvel and or Disney and Capcom couldn't figure out the licensing. I guess they finally did. Shout out John Drake. Now to finally see that it's back, 100%. And I'm usually like Mr. Anti, like I'm digital game only. I honestly might double dip and buy the cart for this just so I can always have a copy of Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Just on the weird chance, because it's been taken away before. I might just go out and buy a cart just in case to keep it.
Probably not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Although nowadays, a lot of the carts, you still have to download stuff, which is
no, they confirmed this is all on cart.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I am not a huge fan of these games. I'm bad at fighting games, so they just frustrate me. But as soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh, Adrian's losing his mind right now. Like
I was flipping out, dude. Oh man. That's a chair throw worthy announcement right there.
So good. Oh man. Yeah. It looks sick. I love too, like they're adding all like the like soundtrack and like
art,
concept
the scans
art,
of the cabinets.
Yeah, they're putting it all in there. Just like it's almost like a collector's edition of the game. You know, all the fun behind the scenes stuff. Very, very cool.
Oh, so good, dude.
Okay. All right. Let's see. I think there's just 2 more big announcements, right?
There is. One is a huge historic announcement, actually.
Yeah, let's do that one next. The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom announced for Nintendo Switch with Zelda as the protagonist. That's right.
Nuts.
You get to play as Zelda. And it's coming out this year, which is insane. Brand new game in the legendary franchise will be released on Switch on September 26, 2024. Feature Princess Zelda as a main character, as Link. As Link and other people from Hyrule have gone missing after strange rifts have started appearing, Zelda will have to work with a mysterious fairy named Tri to use the power of the Tri-Rod to create echoes, imitations of things found in the environment. This means you can make bridges out of old beds, use water blocks to reach new heights, and more. Additionally, a limited edition gold-colored Nintendo Switch Lite with the Hylian crest will arrive alongside the game. When I saw that, I'm like, I don't need a Nintendo Switch Lite.
It looks so sick though.
So bad. Now I had a question about this because I've only played the game once, so maybe I'm mistaken.
Okay,
but isn't this kind of how A Link to the Past begins, where you get sent to a different world, or no?
So this is...
I was almost wondering, like, is this what's happening on the other side when Link's gone, or is this like a completely new, fresh story? I don't know. I couldn't tell.
This is so from and the look. I am a Zelda fan to the core, but while I'm a Zelda fan, people are Zelda fans. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, totally.
And there are people combing through this footage, trying to figure out where does it line up in the timeline? What does it do? I took this as it's an alternate universe where it's taking place in the same time where A Link to the Past is happening, right? But at the same time, it's in the same universe where A Link to the Past would have happened, but just a certain chain of events swapped it, and now Zelda is the protagonist in it, right? And now because of that, it's the butterfly effect. Now a whole other bunch of things have changed in the Links to the Past world. So I'm totally fine with that. Let it be an Elseworld story, but it's incredible that we finally get to play as Zelda. And I love that she plays nothing like Link. You have to use your brain. 100%. You have to figure out what objects work best against other enemies, and you have to use wisdom, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
I'm stoked.
Yeah, I'm excited more for like the puzzle type combat, and the fact that even like any combat that is there too, they like you don't fight, you summon echoes of other monsters. Like, so okay, if you want to fight, you need to like, you copy a beast and then you use them in combat to fight for you. I'm like, that's so cool. That's so dang cool. But yeah, overall, like, I love the art style too. They're bringing back the they use this on what was the remake?
Link's Awakening.
Link's Awakening. I loved that art style.
It was so good.
Fully committing on this one. I just hope it runs better, because
it won't.
That one struggled so hard. Like at times it would just dip. The frames were so bad.
But it was so good, I powered through.
Yeah. So yeah, this game is wild. I think the one thing that made me think it was happening around the time of Link to the Past as well is because of the map. Like at one point when it zooms out, I'm like, oh, I know that map. Like it looks like a Link to the Past map. So it made me wonder, like, okay, is this like when Link goes, to the back in time? Like, is this what's happening in the present day, or is this an alternate universe thing, or what's going on? But either way, yeah, I'm excited about this. I can't believe it. We finally get to play as Zelda. For years it's been like,
it's only taken 30 some odd years, but we're finally here.
Finally doing it. And then there's the one last thing.
Are we ready to talk about it?
This was something where my kids were sitting with me when I was watching this, and I like out loud exclaimed multiple times. I'm like, they did it.
Oh my God. Oh
they
my
did
God.
It. Oh my gosh, they did it. They actually did it. I kept saying that over. My son's like, what? They did what? What do you mean? I'm like, they actually did it. Like this, I can't believe it actually is real and that they did it. And that is Metroid Prime 4 Beyond.
That's
go. Right. Heck yeah. Oh my gosh. They showed gameplay and gave us kind of a release window of a year. We'll see how accurate that is. But yeah, after over 7 years, Nintendo has finally shown off Metroid Prime 4 Beyond with gameplay and a 2025 release window. We didn't learn too much about Samus's new adventure, but it's a welcome look to a game that was first announced back in Nintendo's E3 in 2017. Crazy. That's right, when the Switch was
first
just
came out.
Wee little baby. Just out, just fresh and new to the world. We've been waiting a long time. Now, here's my video game theory for this game.
Mm-hmm.
I think the gameplay we saw was from whatever the next Nintendo console is. I think it's going to come out on both. I think it'll come out on Switch, but I think it's going to be a launch title on the new Nintendo console, and that's because that gameplay looked way too clean, way too gorgeous for Nintendo Switch to me. I don't know. It made me wonder if, oh shoot, I wonder if like this could be, come out on both. It comes out on Switch, but like a cross-platform kind of thing. And what they showed off was whatever the new console is. If that's the case, I'm like, either way, I was flabbergasted by how it looked. It was such a pretty game, but. Yeah, I don't know what you think of that. If that, I'm wild.
No, I don't think that's wild at all. I would, if they said, "Oh yeah, this was from the next hardware," I would 100% believe it, because it was rock solid all the way through. Right in that trailer, did you ever see a hitch? Yeah. I never saw a hitch. I never saw anything. There was lighting and reflections going crazy all over the place.
That's the biggest thing to me was like the lighting was really good. And granted, the lighting looked really good in Dread.
Yeah,
but it's like
that's much less resource intensive than Prime. Yeah. Though I feel like
rendering like a full 3D like first person world is different than just like a static, like, even though Dread technically was 3D, it was all on like a 2D plane,
right?
So it still could be kind of built out like, oh,
you didn't have to render as much,
and everything's predictable. Other than the enemies, everything is predictable, where in a first person world you can change your camera view any way you want. So I'm like, this ran way too smooth, way too clean, and had like the lighting and shadow, everything like looks so good, the reflections. I'm like, I really think this could be on Switch 2 or whatever that's going to be called. But man, I'm so excited.
That's the only place I'm playing it. I'm not playing it on the first one. I will not do it. That is a Switch 2 game for me. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat on that one, I think. But I realized that like I was talking about somewhere with someone, I can't remember where it was, but realizing that I had never it was on my stream last week when I was playing Kingdom Hearts. Someone was asking about it because I streamed the same day the Direct was. And I was like, I've never played the first one. I started to because they came out with a remaster on Switch.
Fix that, dude. What are you doing?
And then something else came out and caught my attention, so I never finished it. 2, I played the crap out of because it was one of my favorite games on GameCube.
I remember you telling me this now. I blocked it out the first time because I was so flabbergasted about it.
I played 2 before. I didn't play 1 until just a few years ago when the remaster came out. I only played 2. I started with 2, and that's all I played and loved it to death.
So you didn't play 3 either?
And I never played 3 because on Wii, it was kind of like the family Wii, and it was definitely more of like a party game system. Like we didn't have like a lot of stuff like this. So I've only played 2. So now I'm like, all right, I need to finish remaster.
Oh.
And I need to figure out how to play 3. I have a Wii. I think I even have it on Wii.
There you go. You're done. I mean?
So I just need to like sit down and do the thing. But man, seeing this has got me all sorts of hyped for Metroid. I can't believe after so many years.
I can't.
It's real. It's real, Adrian.
It's real, did it. Dude. And it looked so good.
Looked amazing. I I just can't imagine like how bad it must have been for them because this is the game,
everything.
Yeah, that they changed developers, right? Changed developers and scrapped everything. Like who was it before? Because now it's back to retro, right?
Yeah, I think it was Tecmo.
Okay, so like
it was I can't remember. No, it wasn't Namco. No, it wasn't Namco. I don't know. I'm having a brain fart. Well, whoever it was, they weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing, clearly, at all.
But boy, it's in good hands now. And
it's in the hands it should have been in, the hands that created it.
That's true. So yeah, that's the Nintendo Direct. What a freaking like incredible Direct that they put out last week. I love how it was like exactly a week after Summer Game Fest, like just far enough to be like a big like screw you to Jeff Keighley. Like
we didn't need you, bro. We didn't need you.
Just casually dropping this Direct, showing off some of like the most killer stuff ever. So yeah, stay tuned for more about that because so many games to be excited for.
Oh man. Awesome.
All right. Well, we should get through the last two stories semi quickly. They're nothing too major, so they shouldn't take too long.
That's okay.
I planned for this. Showcases always take a long time. So
let's do this. I'll give you a 30-second or less response. I got you. Let's go.
Oh, okay. I mean, we can give more than that.
Oh, okay. I thought you were trying to get it done.
No, we're not speed running here. I'm just saying we don't need to go for another 30 minutes on this.
Okay.
All right. This next news story comes to us from Nicholas Sutrich over at Android Central. Yes, I know it's a weird source, but everyone else was reporting on it. Instead of reporting on someone else's report, I figured I'd just go right to the source, right? Instead of doing IGN's article about this post or, I was like, I'll just read the original. So here's the original one that all the other news sites were ranting and raving about. Sony no longer cares about the PSVR 2, and neither should you. Until now, the PSVR 2 has been a pretty darn good VR headset. I don't agree with that. Well over 200 games are currently available, with several impressive releases like Horizon Call of the Mountain, Gran Turismo 7, and the duo of Resident Evil Village and Resident Evil 4 Remake. However, the headset now has an insurmountable problem. Sony no longer cares about it. Sources close to Android Central have revealed that Sony is making deep cuts to funding for VR games. While I'll paraphrase for anonymity, my source was told that there will be very few opportunities for VR game development at Sony going forward. To back that up, another source informed me that only 2 PSVR 2 games are in development at Sony. Given the state of the games industry and with constant layoffs and studio closings, I don't exactly feel confident that even these games will ever see the light of day if Sony continues on its current trajectory. Android Central has reached out to Sony about its PlayStation VR 2 development plans, but they did not get back to us in time for the publication. We will update the article once we have more information. It goes on with more editorial. I should have seen the writing on the wall when Sony's Insomniac Games studio got hacked in December 2023, revealing the fact that the company wasn't working on a single VR game for Sony's flagship VR system, the PlayStation VR 2. That's important because Insomniac Games, a maker of Spider-Man series Ratchet & Clank, Spyro the Dragon, and several other well-known and successful properties, made 4 games for Meta's Oculus Rift platform. 3 of those games were very well received, and many consider Stormland to be still be among the very best open-world VR game playable on PC today. Yet Sony has them working on exactly 0 PSVR 2 games. I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that Insomniac had made a bunch of VR games. Last year, Sony released just 3 PSVR 2 games.
Not for Sony, but they did.
Right, yeah, exactly. Sony released just 3 PSVR 2 games last year and has yet to officially announce even one first-party game coming out for the system in 2024, let alone in 2025. Of those 3 games, Firewall Ultra developer First Contact Entertainment has since shut down. To add insult to injury, Sony then closed down London Studio in February, a team responsible for another of the PSVR's highest-rated game, Blood and Truth, as well as the PlayStation VR World's demo disc. Even Firesprite, the developer behind the excellent Horizon Call of the Mountain, has seen substantial budget and personnel cuts and even game cancellations. That doesn't mean much for Sony's first-party development studios. This goes on a long time. This is a very, very, very long article. I'm not going to read the entire thing. You should go check it out. Nicholas Sutrich wrote this over at Android Central. It's actually very interesting. But yeah, I mean, we've seen the writing on the wall for a while, right? This isn't news to us.
We got eyes.
I feel like,
we got eyes and ears.
Yeah,
and brains.
I feel like anytime there's a state of play or anything, and they either don't show anything or they show a bunch of third-party stuff, like we turn to each other and we're just like, so this is the end of PSVR 2, right? Like this is it. Like they're closing up shop. They keep showing less and less.
They're pulling a Vita, right?
Yeah, they're just letting it
essentially
slowly kind of die out.
Right. This wasn't immediately profitable like our projections were, and we don't have enough money to keep it going in the first place. So we're gonna slowly bow out, let it suck up whatever little money it can to try to pay for itself, and then eventually close it down when it doesn't make enough money anymore. And that's kind of that's exactly what they did with Vita, and they're doing it again.
It's so sad. Like it's first of all, like, yeah, it's not going to do well because A, the pricing of the freaking thing, and B, like you didn't support it from the beginning. What did you expect? Like if there's nothing to play on it, why would I go spend $600 and another $500 on the $500 on a console and $600 for the unit, for the PSVR,
and then
unit.
$60 for the games.
And $60 for the games. It's like, what are you doing, Sony? So right off the bat, it's like they're shooting themselves in the foot. But yeah, then this long drawn out, just like, letting it just suffer and die. It's like, just put out of its misery, please. Just on your website, just delete the PSVR 2 page and let's just move on. Just like even kind of like, you don't even have to make an official announcement. Just be done with it. Like just
make a PlayStation blog post saying that PlayStation 2 the support will cease. Official support will cease for PlayStation VR 2 at X date, right? And not even the whole thing about them making that cable that you can finally put it on, or you can finally use it with PC. That's not going to save it either.
I know. Yeah, they keep talking about that coming out later this year. Like,
what money do they see from that? They don't make money on the units, and they're not going to make money on game sales because they're not going to put PSVR 2 games on PC because they want you to buy a PlayStation to do that.
Yeah, the only reason I can imagine they're doing that, which I doubt this is the case because when has Sony ever cared about this? But to kind of garner some goodwill from the people who have the VR headsets, but it's just like, all right, sorry, we're not supporting it, so we're gonna make this cable for you and then move on, kind of thing. Like, right. So that way you can at least still use it. But like, when have they cared about that in the past? They don't care what people think. Like, so I don't. It's a stupid reason, but that's the only reason I can think of that they would continue on with this cable.
You want to know my reason, my theory that is probably not likely true, but makes a whole lot of sense in my brain? It's a lot cheaper to make those cables, right? And you can move a few units now that people know that they can use them with their PCs, right? They're trying to get rid of this inventory, and the best way to do it, what? Sell it to the nerds, sell it to the VR nerds who have these super duper hyped up PCs that are looking for a new headset to run everything. Because while it is a flop headset, what?
But the Quest, like, what is that? What I would? Why would I?
But that's what I was gonna say is while it is a flop headset, right? As far as like sales are concerned and reception is concerned, hardware wise, it's a very good headset.
Yeah.
I've watched Digital Foundry go all through it and talk about the tech inside of it. So as a PC based headset, it can definitely get the job done. But I agree also with what you're about to rebut with is that the Quest 3 is only like $300, right?
I mean, the new one's no, it's the new one's a little more like between 4 and 5, depending on what side.
Oh, okay. See, now they're in competitive spaces. But you can argue that the Quest 3 you can take on its own.
Exactly.
Right?
And that's like, yeah, okay, maybe the fidelity is like a hair worse in the Quest 3 than the PlayStation VR 2, but it's like the ability to just like unplug and go wherever I want with it is kind of worth it to me more than just having like, that high resolution in my eyeballs. Like, do you really tell that much of a difference? Like, maybe, but in the long run, like the functionality of the Quest 3 sounds way more appealing to me. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Yeah, that does check out. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Make the cable, sell a few more units, maybe, and then move on with it. But boy,
hang it up, man.
I don't know.
Just hang it up.
Yeah.
Or I guess they already have. They just can't say it publicly because then they'll really stop selling units.
Yeah, that's true. Oh man. I mean, yeah. And what's funny is like at the last State of Play that they did, they announced a few PSVR 2 games, but
none from Sony.
None of them were first party. And what I loved is like there was a couple that I was excited about, but I was like, dang it, it's got PSVR 2. Later when I looked it up, no, it's coming on Quest. When they announce, obviously at the State of Play, it only has the PlayStation symbol. But then when you actually go, like that Alien game, it basically looks like Alien Isolation, but VR. Like that's coming.
But you're not going to play because you're a chicken.
No way, dude! I'm definitely going to play that. I'm so stoked.
We'll
Doesn't
see.
mean I'm
Alien hits different when you're actually in it. I'm just
true. Alien Isolation is probably like one of the most terrifying games out there.
Right
like
now, put yourself actually in the space. Yeah, you're not playing that, buddy. Yeah. You're not doing that.
Hey, I made it through Resident Evil 7 VR. I think I can. I can survive.
I'll remember this conversation.
Let me tell you, Resident Evil 7 VR that'll mess you up. That was a PSVR exclusive, PSVR 1, and I had that, and I was like, oh man, like I was in VR for like too long on that one. I played for like 4 or 5 hours straight, and I was like,
you had to watch some cartoons before you went to bed. Just to cleanse your palate.
I am a dirty, dirty boy. What have I done?
I've done some things and some stuff.
Especially that one. 7 is so like
gross.
Yeah, they like purposely just went over the top just to make it nasty. Oh man. Yeah. So PSVR 2, should you buy it? Probably
don't.
Not. Unless they start going on clearance, maybe. And buy it on clearance and buy that cable you can use on your PC.
If that headset ever goes below $300, do it. It's a good deal at that point. $550 is outrageous.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. All right. This last news story comes to us from Michael Cripe over at IGN. Bethesda
Michael Crichton? Jurassic Park writer Michael Crichton wrote, whoa.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Bethesda doesn't feel the need to rush Fallout 5 in the wake of TV show success. Bethesda Softworks head Todd Howard knows fans are looking forward to Fallout 5, especially in the wake of the Prime Video show success, but he isn't interested in rushing out the door. Howard opened up about the future of the hit post-apocalyptic RPG series during an interview with YouTube content creator Mr. Matty Plays. He says Bethesda spends a lot of time plotting out how to handle the direction of its franchises. For other Fallout games in the future, obviously I can't talk about those right now, but I would say sort of rushing through them, or we kind of need to get stuff out that is different than the work we're doing in 76. We don't feel like we need to rush any of that, he said. Fallout TV show fills a certain niche in terms of the franchise and storytelling. The last mainline Fallout game was Fallout 4, which released in 2015. DLC content for the entry was steadily released for PC and consoles over the next year, and in 2018, Bethesda launched its multiplayer-centered offshoot Fallout 76. While fans slowly flocked to the West Virginia set open-world RPG, it wasn't until the premiere of Prime Video's Fallout TV show that the Bethesda series reached a new level of attention. Still, Howard won't budge when it comes to desires for a substantial video game release. For him, it comes down to wanting to treating his franchises with care. Totally get the desire for the new kind of mainline single-player game, he added. And look, those things take time. I don't think it's bad for people to miss things. We just want to get it right and make sure that everything we're doing in a franchise, whether it's Elder Scrolls, Fallout, or now Starfield, that those become meaningful moments for everybody who loves these franchises as much as we do. I don't know. This just makes me sad because I love Fallout.
Does it?
Yeah, I miss Fallout, and Fallout 76 isn't it. I want like I need more Fallout in my life. Real Fallout, whether it's a remake of like 3 or New Vegas that we've talked about, or like a remaster or a new one. Like I don't know. So just knowing like they're not rushing it. They're not looking like the fact that Fallout 4 came out in 2015. We're coming up on the 10-year mark without another mainline Fallout game. Like that seems like so long.
It is, but I'm kind of glad, right? Because I feel like we're on the cusp of now that Bethesda Bethesda is owned by Xbox, I really think that Xbox is getting ready to push them off of that creation engine and onto Unreal so that we can get the next Fallout game made in Unreal. Thank God, So hopefully
that's the biggest thing. That's the
biggest positive that can come out of this.
Whatever they do with Fallout, the next Fallout game, like they need to move into a new engine. Like that was one of our biggest gripes with Starfield was like, okay, like this still feels like an old game because it's using an engine. It's using a 2014, 2015 engine. Like this is
earlier than that. That's the same one that Skyrim was on. Skyrim really? And Fallout 3, creation engine.
No, no. It's using the newer version. There's because Fallout 4,
but it's built on the bones of the original creation engine.
Right, but I think it is different.
They have not ground up reworked that engine since then.
So Fallout 3 used Gamebryo engine. It's not Creation Engine. Creation Engine was designed for let me see. I can tell you right here what games use Creation Engine.
I thought that was their big proprietary thing.
So the first game that used it was Skyrim. You were correct on that. So Creation Engine was first used on Skyrim in all the DLC and VR games and everything. Then Fallout 4 did it. Then Fallout 76. Then Starfield. Starfield used Creation Engine 2 apparently. So which was built again. Like so. Technically, Starfield's using a quote unquote newer version of Creation, but
it's not enough.
It didn't. Not enough. It honestly, if I was to put Starfield, Fallout 4 next side by side, most people would be like, "Those both were made in 2015." That's how I feel. I'm just being real harsh on that one, probably a little too harsh, but that's how I feel. Apparently, it says here Elder Scrolls 6 might be using Creation Engine 2, which is kind of a bummer. But yeah, either way, it's an old engine, 2011. And the fact that they could be making games like, please get over to Unreal or something more modern and just easier to use. Like, I don't know. Like it just, the whole Creation engine is always so buggy, right? Like that's Bethesda's thing. And I think a lot of it comes down to like just having a buggy engine to begin with, right?
Yes, 100%.
I don't make video games, but boy, I feel like that's a no-brainer. Like the games are always so busted.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we'll see. I don't know. But I guess the thought that like, man, it's been so long since we've had a mainline Fallout game. I would have in my head. Before reading this, and hearing what Todd said, I would have done predictions where like next year, like 2025 or 26, we could see Fallout 5. But now reading this, I'm like, oh. They're not in any hurry. They're not even probably working on it. Like they're
what we're gonna bridge the gap with, right? Is that there's words on the wind about there's a Fallout 3 remaster in the works, or remake, remake in the works. So that could get us through.
I hope so. I really wish that's true because that was an incredible game, and just to give us like that a little appetizer almost. Here's Fallout 3 or even Fallout New Vegas was so good. Like one of those two, just like, here you go. That would be absolutely incredible. But we'll have to wait and see. Yep. You've never played 76, right?
I played 76 for maybe an hour and a half.
Okay. Yeah,
and that was back when it first came out, and I was like, no, this is not what I'm looking for in a Fallout game, actually. No thanks.
Yeah, as soon as I jumped in, I'm like, oh, this is Minecraft. This sucks.
Yeah. I do not ever want to play a Fallout game where I'm playing with other people. That's not Fallout.
Yeah.
Fallout is you're exploring a wasteland as a lone traveler who comes into contact with other people from time to time and has companions, but not like that. Not even remotely like that.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah. Having your friends with you all the time, or even just the ability that random people on the internet could like bomb your settlement and just like
absolutely not.
Like I just built this incredible thing, spent like something you could spend years on, and just someone just nukes you. It's like, all right, bye bye. It's like, oh,
you could not. Oh, I couldn't delete a game faster if somebody did that to me.
Did you hear about after? Oh, what was it? It was just recently.
Somebody bombed Phil Spencer's settlement.
Spencer's settlement. I like that. That's so good. Oh man, I love that. What was it? Because it was
after the layoffs were announced.
That's what it was. They just did all the layoffs, and someone went and bombed his settlement. I was like, that's great. That is fantastic. I would have loved to see his face when he logged in. It's just
it was all gone.
Oh man, poor guy. All right. I hit the wrong button there. I went to the BRB screen. We're not leaving. We're not going anywhere. No, in fact, it's that time of the show where I need to tell you about our Patreon ad.
Roll 'em.
All right, this is the part of the show where I tell you to go to patreon.com/supergamerboys, where you can support us starting at just $1 a month. That's right, $1 each and every month gets you episodes early and ad-free all month long, such as this show that you're listening to right now, such as our other shows when they're off hiatus. You got Super Gamer Book Club, Super Dungeon Boys. You can get early access to our Patreon exclusive shows like Super Later Boys, and the archives of some of our earlier Super Gamer Book Club seasons. So if you love what we do and want to help support us, get some extra content, get some early content here, make sure to support us over there at just $1 a month. You can also support us at $5 a month and get those previous perk and access to the show notes. So you can see each and every week exactly what we're going to be talking about, what news stories we're going to be talking about, what listener questions there are, and what we're going to be playing, which this week, it's the first time it's ever happened. We've had someone actually comment on the docs coming up here in the Whatcha Playing segment, so stay tuned for that. That's right, this history making. We've been doing this Patreon for years, and I don't think anyone's ever commented on one of the show notes. That is one of the perks. Not only can you see it, you can comment on it. So you can leave your own questions, comments, concerns about the news stories, about the listener questions, about what we're playing. Throw in your 2 cents. If you want your voice heard, support us at $5 a month, and you get those show notes all month long for all the episodes. And can leave your comments if you want your voice heard here on the show. So stay tuned for that history-making moment coming up next segment. $10 a month, you can be a Super Gamer sponsor, where you get those previous perks and a shout-out at the top of each and every episode. We love doing that. I love reading those names off at the top. And some of those names also include our top dog tier Patreon producer. That's right, $15 a month. And you get all the previous perks, and you can pitch us a show segment. So if you're like, I think I have good idea for something for these boys to do, I always recommend passing it by us first, so we can give it the A-OK, before we try something that might get us canceled or otherwise. But 9 times out of 10, we run with it. Actually, so far, 10 out of 10. I think we've pretty much done every idea. And boy, is it a blast to have fun little show segments or social media segments or whatever it might be. Fun little extra things that aren't typically part of the show, that are ideas given to us by those Patreon producers. So thank you very much for everyone who supports us. You guys are incredible. And if you want to be one of those incredible people as well, go over to patreon.com/supergamerboys. You can also support us by going over to sgbstore.com right now. Probably not going to see a lot. I think it says coming soon, but let me tell you, we are this close to opening up. That's right. We've been teasing it for a long time. Some new merch coming out. Let me tell you, I got some samples and everything is looking absolutely gorgeous. So if you want to get in on that, make sure to bookmark sgbstore.com. That way you know when it goes live, you can head over there and hopefully pick some new stuff up maybe. Adrian, you just walked back in. I was just letting the people know we're like so close to launching some new merch, and I'm so excited.
Oh, dude, I think this new line, I think it's gonna fly, brother.
I've gotten samples for everything back so far, and I'm very happy with everything. And even designed a couple of extra things I don't have samples for, but based off of what I've gotten, I know it's going to be good. Boy, I cannot wait. Yeah, we're going with a new provider. We're moving away from our old storefront, so it's a new printer, new provider, new everything, new web page. So bookmark sgbstore.com, and when we give the green light, boy, you better go get some.
It's gonna rule.
And last but not least, you can support us by going to twitch.tv/thesupergamerboys and subscribing to our channel. You can actually subscribe for free. If you have Amazon account, you can link it to your Twitch account, use that free Prime Gaming subscription that you get with that service on our channel. Costs you $0. We get $5 out of it. Not only that, you get access to our emotes and ad-free viewing. So you don't have to, I mean, you still have to listen to this part if you're watching live, but you don't have to watch those other pesky Twitch ads that might pop up randomly in the middle of us talking about a news story or whatnot. So if you want to watch us ad-free over on Twitch, support us at that with $5 with a Twitch sub, or like I said, for free with a Prime Gaming subscription. Think about dropping that on us. You have to redo that each and every month. It doesn't go automatically. So remember, if you've done it in the past, maybe go check it out. Make sure you drop it on us again, please. Alrighty, that's it for the ad. Now, let's get back to the show. Alrighty, Adrian, we're back, and
yes, sir.
It's time for me to ask you the age-old question. You know, gentlemen have been asking each other this for millennia. You know, they sit around campfires, they sit around
business rooms,
they sit around
social clubs,
the cyber fireplaces in the future even, and asking this very important question: what you playing?
If you must know, sir, these past few days I have been on one journey and one journey only. I'm back on the Breath of the Wild sauce hard, brother. I'm back on it. I'm back in it.
Really?
Yes. Okay. I've been going hard. The only thing I've been doing is traveling around the map, just doing the Sheikah Towers. Because I had forgotten that every single one has like a little challenge with it. Like you have to do something like melt ice or get through a combat little series of like a fort that the monsters have built and things like that. And that's an adventure in its own.
Oh, 100%.
So yeah,
that's what I spent most of my time doing with my playthrough of Breath of the Wild. Like, I put a ton of time in it, and most of it was just like all those fun little challenges with the towers. I was just like, you know, I didn't progress the story very far, but boy, did I have fun doing all those stupid little challenges between the towers and then the
shrines.
Obviously, the shrines too. Like, man, that in itself is just. I was content just playing that. And,
yes.
I mean. I'm not even lying about that, because I never finished the game because I was like, I've had my fill. I'm very content and happy. I've just done puzzles and I'm out.
Yeah, man, I've been back on it tough. That game is spectacular. Still to this, even post Tears of the Kingdom, that game, I still hold to my thought or my ruling that those games to me stand shoulder to shoulder. They have their own sauces, their own flavors. Yeah, they're two parts of the same whole, but there's things about each of them that I think they have their own identity, and I think that they work well. They complement each other extremely well. So yeah, that's all I've been playing, and boy, have I been playing it. It feels like 2017 all over again.
That's so good. That's amazing. Oh man, love it. Very good. I would love to finish the story in Breath of the Wild, but it's like just such a big game. It's just so daunting, you know? It's so scary. But at the same time, I just know it's, I don't know. It would probably help me understand Tears of the Kingdom a little more. When I first started up Tears of the Kingdom, I was like, I don't know what's happening here, but this is cool anyways. Oh, man. Well, I've been playing a couple games. In fact,
do tell.
I've finished a game a couple weeks ago. I forgot to talk about it on the show. I don't even think I've posted on the Discord, because we do have a backlog challenge happening over there. And I had totally forgotten to post it. I have a screenshot on my Switch still. But Kirby in the Forgotten Land.
You did? And you didn't say anything?
So I mentioned before that I've been playing it with my two kids. Mostly they've been playing it, but like we trade off. So like they'll play it and then they're like, we need help. So then I play it for a while. And so it's kind of it was a joint op with the three of us, with me, my oldest Shep, 6, who's 6 years old, and my youngest Griffin, who's 3. So quite the age spread there. But boy, it was a blast to watch them play. They love it. Even since we've beat it, there's like, I guess, spoilers for Kirby. There's post-game content. Like you finish and it unlocks like almost another part of the story. Like, oh, shoot, something happened. Like you need to go tie this loose end up. And they've been wanting to go back and play that, which is awesome. I love it. But yeah, what an absolute beautiful game.
I adore that game. I adore Forgotten Land. Oh,
like the worlds are so incredible, so beautiful, so fun. The enemies are fantastic, fun to fight, especially like some of the boss battles. It got tiring at times when it's just like it's like, all right, this is just a repeat of a previous boss battle. You're just kind of, but still, like initially, it's just like, oh man, like this is so like the boss arena is that little like armadillo like junk dude or whatever, like in the junkyard.
That was
like,
a good one.
He's so good. And it goes through like multiple layers. You keep like falling down. But boy, what got me the most, and it's so, this is so ridiculous. But also like, this is video games. And this is why I love video games. I had kind of played the whole game because it was, I was barely paying attention because it's like the three of us playing. And so it's like the story wasn't really clicking necessarily. It was more just like, all right, I'm just here for the gameplay and spending time with my boys. This is fun. Boy, it gets to the end though. And I guess I'm going to kind of spoil the end of Kirby Forgotten Land for what it's worth. So tune back in like 30 seconds to a minute, I guess. But, the ending, you finish the boss battle and everything seems okay until all of a sudden the world is falling apart. It's like, oh, it's not okay. Like, well, oh yay, we beat the boss. Oh shoot, the world is still like shattering and falling apart. So you literally like drive over all these buildings and like the literal worlds are colliding. Like the bad guy literally just like grabs two universes and just chucks them at each other. Universes are colliding. The worlds are destroying, like literally eating each other, like ripping each other to shreds. You fall back into your world, back to what's the world
Dreamland.
From? Dreamland. So you're like out of the Forgotten Land back into Dreamland.
Planet Popstar, Dreamland, same difference. Anyway.
Yeah. And all of a sudden you look up and your little blue friend, I don't even know his name, is this like who you find out just previously is actually a part of this like interdimensional ultra being, is part of the bad guy, but is like the good part of the bad guy, is like I gotta take, I don't remember exactly what to say, but basically like I got this, like I like it's been a good time with you, it's been real. Peace. And just sacrifices himself to save the world, literally just straight up like murders himself, does whatever, like goes back in the portal and just like zoop, you're just like he's dead. And the look on my oldest Shep, he looked at me with his eyes so big, he's like, he can't read, so he's like, what's it saying, and I'm like reading this off and he's just like, so what happened? I'm like, well, your friend just sacrificed his life to save you, to save the world. And like the tears, like he didn't cry, but it was just like
we got him. He like, felt something. Let's go.
His eyes just like wet. Like, you can look at someone and be like, oh, they're like on the edge of tears. Like that was like Shep. And then it was one of those things where like it hit me at the same time. Like, and so I immediately like tear up and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I can't cry in front of my son playing Kirby.
Let's go. Let's go. I love to hear it.
This moment where like, this moment where he's like feeling this, like this best friend he's had the entire game just sacrifice himself to save the world. And then me as well. Like when I was saying it to him, it was one of those things where like I was reading it, I was like, whatever. And then like to say it to my 6-year-old son, like it hit me too. I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is so sad for a kid's game. Like what the heck? It like got me all teared up. Oh man. And my wife was in the room too. And she's like, are you okay? Are you okay, buddy? And she's like, it's okay to cry. It's okay to be sad. Like that's a sad thing. Like my wife was in on it. Like she was like, it's okay. Like you feel
Look
things.
at Kirby making
like,
you guys have a family moment,
like,
dude.
Oh my gosh. What a crazy thing. So yeah, Kirby Forgotten Land is a great game.
It's a fantastic game. I love that game.
So yeah, go pick up Kirby Forgotten Land if you missed out on that somehow, because not only is the gameplay top notch, mouthful mode is so much fun. Like that power is so good, but then like apparently the story is a freaking tearjerker. Oh man, it's a good one. But I also started playing a new game, and that game was thank you, code provided by Kajoma01. So one of our Patreon producers, thank you very much, Kajoma. Balatro, which is that indie game. It's like the roguelike card deck building game.
I've heard of it.
Where you use like, basically you're using poker hand. You're using like a standard 52 card deck, but as you go, you're like adding weird and strange abilities to your deck. So it starts 52 card, ace through king, whatever standard suits, and then by the end, like as you start playing, there's like weird power-ups and like weird jokers you're at, like all sorts of crazy stuff, abilities. It's hard to even explain, and it's this idea like you need to get as far as you can before you lose, and if when you lose, you start all the way back to the beginning. So boy, the first night I fired that up, I think it was like Friday night, I played until like 2:30 in the morning.
Jeez.
It was like 2:30, 3 o'clock. It was late. It was very late. I played so much and for so long. This game is so good. And this is what I was mentioning here in during the ad segment. This is our first ever, this is a historical moment right here, Adrian. The first ever time someone is actually written in on our show notes, left their own questions, comments, or concern. Kajoma wrote in here and says, "Game of the Year contender?" ? So,
how you feeling?
He wants to know how I feel about it as far as Game of the Year. So here's the deal. I'll give you the full rundown. Gameplay is fantastic. It has a great loop. Because even when you lose, you're like, all right, I'm jumping back in. It's tough to get going again, especially when you get super ultra powerful with your deck to start back from zero. Kind of sucks, but at the same time, like that cycle feels good to just be like, all right, here we go. Let's do it a little bit differently this time. Let's see what happens. The cycle is good. The gameplay is fantastic. The art style is top notch. I love how it's kind of like watching like a tube TV, kind of like has like that CRT kind of aesthetic to it. Almost like you're playing like a video poker game, like, something like that. And then even the soundtrack, there's very little soundtrack to it, but in the sound effects, but there's something to it. It's just like, it's perfect. It's perfect for what it is. I'm loving all of that. Here's the only reason I don't know if it wins Game of the Year for me, or even is like a top, I don't know. Obviously, we're only halfway through the year. We got a long ways to go. A lot of games, especially, come out this fall. At this point, I don't know. I need to chew more on it. I don't know if it's a Game of the Year contender for me, and here's the biggest reason why is because, and I think it's not because this game is bad, it's because other games have ruined this for me. And that is, I've played other kind of, whether it's a simulator game or a deck building game or whatever it is, and maybe this is spoilers. I don't know. I don't think this is spoilers for this game, but there's no story to it. It's just just a card game. Just a card game. And there is an end, apparently. Like you can reach an end, but it's kind of like from what I've heard. Because I looked it up because I played a lot of it. And I'm like, am I missing something? So I straight up looked it up. I'm just like, I need to know. Like, is there a story? that I'm missing, because that would suck. Like if I get like 50 hours into a game and be like, oh, I missed all these clues, like I don't understand what's happening now. That's annoying. So I was just like, I've put a lot of hours in this. Let me see. And when I saw that, I was like, especially something like, and again, I think it's less that this game is not good and more that like games like Inscription ruined this for me. If you know what I mean. Yeah. Where it's like, there's other games I've played that like on the surface come across like this is just a card game, or this is just a simulator, like Power Wash Simulator. This is just like whatever. And then the more you get into it, you're like, there's something else happening here in the background. Sure enough, there's some really cool story that comes out of it. Where this game, I guess, is at least so far, from what I've looked up and what I've played, it's not that. So I want to clarify, like, that doesn't take away from the game at all. I'm still utterly addicted to this game and cannot stop playing it. Like I almost played a little bit when I was waiting for you before the show today, Adrian. Like I was just like,
it's that bad, huh? It's got I need to jump in and
I need to play another hand or something. So it's up there. It's like an 8 or 9 out of 10 for me on the scale. I just don't know if it's game of the year contender. But again, I need to chew on it more. I've only just played it over the weekend, and I also haven't had a chance to sit down and think about, I haven't been able to think about the whole grand scheme of like, as far as game of the year, I need to like sit down and like write down the games that have come out this year, the ones I've actually played and what I actually think of them. Cause I haven't done that. I haven't taken stock yet this year, but yeah, you know me, story is everything. Like that's what I love games, which is surprising that I'm even loving this game so much. Cause it does, like so far, at least if there is something hidden that I'm missing or that people are lying about online, cause that could be the case too. Inscription people lied online all the time because they wanted to keep the story hidden. So who knows, maybe there's more to it, but so far I'm like, I'm bummed there's no story or anything, but let me tell you that it's got a gameplay loop that got its hooks in me, and I highly, highly, highly recommend. So I think it's pretty much available everywhere, if I remember right. Like it's on Switch, it's on PlayStation. I got it on Steam Deck, so that way I could play it either on my Steam Deck or on my PC, like wherever I'm sitting, I can fire it up. So yeah, Switch, PlayStation, Mac OS, PlayStation 4, Xbox, all the Xboxes. So definitely check this game out. And thank you so much for Kajoma for providing that code.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, go check it out. It's on sale quite often. Like I think that was another reason. Like he saw it was on sale and he tweeted about it, and then I think he tagged me in it, and I just like liked it and just like, oh, this looks sick. And then he was just like, oh, hey, yeah, I'll hook you up, dude. So I appreciated that. But I say that though, because like it is, I see it often. I get the pings like, hey, it's on sale. Yeah, it's on sale. So keep an eye out. Definitely worth the pickup.
Okay. It's on the list.
Cool. All right. Well, that's it. That's it for the show. So I just want to say thank you so much for everyone who listens and watches, whether it's live at twitch.tv/thesupergamerboys while we're recording Monday nights, or if it's watching later on Wednesdays when it releases on YouTube or podcast apps, or maybe it's somewhere in between because you support us on Patreon. Thank you to everyone. We appreciate each and every one of you. Couldn't do it without you. Even those who flame us on
we love you too.
Comments. We love you too. Yes, you can also, if you love everything we do, we'd appreciate it if you support us by going to patreon.com/supergamerboys. You can support us starting at just $1 a month. Talked about that a bit earlier. If you want to hear more about it, just go back to the ad that you probably skipped. But we got a few different levels, a few different perks, so check that out. Patreon.com/supergamerboys. SGBstore.com, as I mentioned earlier as well. Some hopefully some new merch very soon. The last thing I want to do is and this is a peek behind the curtain, I'd like to take my own photos to upload to the site, because they have stock ones that look very good, but I'm like, it'd also be fun to like show off the merch in my own way. So we'll see how much time I get. I've been surprisingly busy for an unemployed man, so we'll see if I can find some time to get some pictures with the new merch, get it up on the site, and then hopefully get it out to you guys sooner than later, especially since it's supposed to be our summer thing. So stay tuned for that. sgbstore.com. Rate and review us where we can. I actually saw that we got a new review over on Apple Podcasts. Thank you so much. I think it was C. Lambo. Can only imagine who that was.
C. Lambo. Let me think. Who might that be?
But we appreciate everyone who does that. That helps tremendously. In fact, doing lots, not only does downloading and listening and playing, and they track all that stuff. I can even see how many minutes some of you people listen to our podcast. So if you're not listening all the way through, I know. But leaving reviews as well helps our stuff get bumped up to the top. So please, whether it's on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, both of those kind of the two main places, leave those 5-star reviews, leave your little comments on there as well, your little stories, what you think about us. We appreciate it. It's good time. Shout out to Jack, Sriracha, Yate, and DJ Trooz for allowing us to use their music on our show. Remember, today we're listening to DJ Trooz, so make sure to go find them over on Apple Music and Spotify. Links will be in the show description on YouTube and podcast apps, so check that description. Click those links. Show some love. You can find us during the week over at supergamerboys.com, Twitter and Instagram at supergamerboys. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at gmorlang. Adrian, where can they find you at?
You can find me any and everywhere at Homeboy.
All right. And that's it. That's all I got. This has been another, Super Gamer Boys XL, I guess, for you. Enjoy it. And with that, Adrian, you mind taking us out?
Absolutely, folks. Thank you for hanging out with us for another episode of the Super Gamer Boys podcast. As always, and as Garrett just said, we appreciate any and all support in any form that you give it, whether that's just hanging out here in the live stream, chatting away. That's people who watch the VODs, people who just listen on audio. It all helps, and it all helps us to continue to do what we love to do, which is sit here and talk to you about video games, which I really think, it's connecting us all in a special way, 100%. But until next time, we are the Super Gamer Boys.
And we'll catch you on the flippity flop.
Oh, what a direct, man. They brought it. Games are so cool. S-tier direct, for sure.
It's 10 out of 10, baby.